Right now, we're only in early access for Hades 2, and a lot of people are saying that it's probably going to end up being one of the best RPGs of 2024. And honestly, that's kind of saying a lot considering some of the games that's supposed to be coming out or the games that have already come out this year. I'm talking about games like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, the 100 Heroes game, Ayuden Chronicle, I believe that's what it's called. You got Persona 3 Reload, you got Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, you got Capcom's Dragon Dogma, games like that that were like heavily hyped for 2024. And obviously, the RPGs like from this year are not as popular and as high profile as the ones that came out in 2023. I'm talking like games like Baldur's Gate 3, games like Diablo 4 and Hogwarts Legacy. But this game right here, just about everything about it in terms of its look, how polished it is, the fact that you don't see too many like 2D, roguelike action RPG games, stuff like that makes it stand out because the graphics and the gameplay and everything else feels so modern. And not only that, it feels exactly like the first Hades game from 2020, but better, and it has its own identity and everything. Um, I don't think the game necessarily has like endings just yet because it's still in early access. But the thing is, a lot of people have nothing but good things to say about it. They're impressed by what they see. I'm honestly impressed by what I saw in terms of the gameplay, from the characters to the dark atmosphere. All that stuff is are like among things that made Hades 2, or it makes it look like like something that's going to stand the test of time years from now. And I do feel like this is a game that's going to develop into a series, and it's probably going to be one of the more popular RPG series of the 2020s decade. Because let's face it, I mean, we all know that Square Enix is doing everything they can to try and milk Final Fantasy VII for what it's worth. It's like the Final Fantasy series. Um, it's been losing its popularity for quite some time because Final Fantasy 16 was a flop for the most part. And I do feel that Hades 2 is definitely going to be one of those games that's going to be a candidate for the best RPG, if not the best video game for 2024 for the most part. And some people like still look at Hades 2 like for the most part, it's an indie game or what have you. But I do feel like this is a game that has the potential to become more mainstream and something that's going to be like more popular and a lot bigger than what it is right now, like years from now. But but yeah, I do feel like Hades 2 is definitely it's definitely going to be one of those games that's going to be a candidate for the best RPG of 2024. And honestly, it's a good thing. Like if we're getting a full version of this game this year, it's a good thing that's coming out this year because it's not like last year where this game would have been highly overshadowed if it was released. 2024 is a year for, I guess, like indie games and games with niche genres like roguelike RPGs and all that stuff. It's a year for like these type of games like really stand out for the most part. I feel like if Hades 2 came out in 2022, it probably would have ended up being like the best RPG of that year instantly because 2022 for the most part was a slog of a year, and this year to some extent kind of seems like a slog of a year in relation to high profile video game releases. But at the same time, I would say that 2024 is better than 2014 in terms of high profile video game releases because that year was a huge slog in general. But but yeah, Hades 2 honestly looks impressive thus far. And hopefully we'll get the full version of the game and more updates and details about the game as time goes by within the next couple of months or so.